Welcome, Maintenance University. Didn't want to head out on a Friday without talking to you guys first. It is definitely something I was thinking about this week. Welcome, Maintenance University. Today, we're going to define your win. Most teams aren't failing. They're just moving without direction. I know a lot of times coming up, even for myself, I would go out there, I would work hard all day. I would go in the trenches. I would be the first one in the motor pool. I'll be the last one out of the motor pool. Didn't take lunch, didn't eat, didn't drink water. I just wanted to get the mission done. And over time, that definitely adapted and it worked. And it helped out. It worked well. I was able to accomplish the mission. Like I said, I was able to excel. I was able to be promoted. But one thing it was doing, it was leaving me with a little bit of burnout. It was leaving me with a sense of, after I worked so hard, I thought working hard was defining my win. I thought the harder I work, that is the winner. That is the winning. Fast forward, it just started to feel like just almost a sense of wake up, work, repeat. It was the same cycle over and over. I couldn't figure out what was bothering me. I couldn't figure out, no matter how many wrenches I turned, no matter how many vehicles I fixed, no matter how many push-ups I did, no matter how far I ran or how fast I ran, it just wasn't defining the win. I wasn't clear on what the win was. And I think that's a pain point for many of us, because I know it was a pain point for me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, that I have it all figured out, but I'm able to see and identify that now. As I get older and as I develop myself, I'm starting to see these things. I'm starting to see, what are we defining as a win? So let's talk about it. What is your win? How do you define your win? And a lot of times we think we're in motion, or just because we're there at the right place, right time, right uniform. I mean, that's just part of being there. But is that your win? If your win is you're just there, then maybe you are winning, but there's definitely more to it if you think that's just it. So a few of my notes I wanted to talk about, and this is a great one right here because I've seen this all the time, and it's tried and true, and I test it. Let me ask you a question. If I was to walk inside your workplace, and for me, if I was to walk inside your motor pool, and if I was to ask five different operators, I asked 5 different operators, what is the win for the day? Would I get 5 of the same answers? It's a great question. Because how are we defined as leaders in this first day of the motor pool? How are we defining that? If I ask 5 different questions, and I've lived this, I've done it, I've proved it. I've walked into a mechanic and I asked mechanic, hey, what is your win for the day? What is your task? And sometimes I'll get an answer of, hey, I just need to install this part, and I'm told once I install this part, I'm good. Okay, I'll take that as a win. Other times I've gotten answers where it's, hey, what is the win for the day for you? And they're just like, I don't know, I'm just here. I don't know, I'm just here. That's not even a win. Like, what are we even doing? So my question for you, like I said earlier, if I was to ask 5 different people, would I get 5 different answers? And if your answer is yes, you're gonna get 5 different answers, then we gotta think, are we defining our win? Are we expressing what our win is for the team? Are we just assuming they should know what the win is? Now, if we're assuming they should know what the win is, then maybe we need to dial that in and take away assumption. We talked before, assumption could be seen as the lowest form of communication. There's too many times a lot of us have gotten burned because we assume the task got done, or we assume this happened. Once we start assuming, then we just are guessing. Once we're guessing, we do what we call shoot from the hip. And when we're shooting from the hip, a lot of times it doesn't go too well. Can't say that I have not ever shot from the hip, but I'll tell you right now, shoot from the hip is not probably what to do. So if you got 5 different answers from 5 different people, then maybe you need to start expressing what your win is collectively for a team. Or you might have to start for yourself. What's your win for yourself? Start there. Let's see, why does this matter? Well, I wrote this note down. Let's see why this matters. Here's what I've learned. I've learned it the hard way. You can have good soldiers, you can have long hours, you can have all the people who care, but you could still go absolutely nowhere. Again, that's something I've lived, and I know a few of you guys feel the same way. Not even the military, don't even have to be in the military to feel that way, that you trained all your personnel, and your personnel is there on time, right place, right time, right uniform. You all know what to do, you guys all know what to execute. But at the end of the day, everyone sits around. At the end of the day, when we're changing out from our coveralls back, or changing out from our coveralls into our uniform, or if you're just, at the end of the day, everyone closes the laptops and we have a end of the day huddle, and we just What'd you do today? I did X, Y, and Z. I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and everyone saw it. Are we all defining our win? Do we feel like we accomplished something? And I say this because there's been a few times where, many times I've left the office, grabbed my keys, grabbed my hat, head to the car, start driving home. And as I'm driving home, I start thinking to myself, all right, I did this meeting, I did this report, I helped troubleshoot this, I helped solve that problem. And then I just still feel like, man, I didn't even do anything today. It was just straight chaos. So you have to wonder about that sometimes. And that's when it started to settle into me like, man, what is my win? What am I doing here? What is my own internal purpose of when I come to work? How do I know that I'm winning? And you got to have that yourself in order so you can project it to others. So you can avoid having where you ask 5 different people what the win is for the day and they don't know. Because effort without direction just creates noise. Effort without direction just creates noise. And I think that comes from the easiest way, thriving in chaos. I've used that expression a lot and I've heard it numerous times. Man, we thrive in chaos because we just thrive in everything's a priority. Everything is a fire. We got to put out this, got to put X, Y, and Z. A lot of times when you do that cycle gets old. You feel burnt out. You feel annoyed. You feel like, what are we doing? So you have to define your win. Definitely got to define it. And early on, I thought when I used to hear, what is your win? Again, I thought it was just making sure this vehicle was working. That was my win for the day. Or making sure that vehicle's working, the parts are ordered, and this meeting got done, and this part got turned in. After a while, that just becomes just rapid chaos. And I'm like, is that really defining the win? Is that really the vision for the day? I like to think that's just, we cling on to that as maybe just the assumption that's a win for the day. If I do all these 100 things, my assumption is that's a win for the day. But is it really? I don't know. My schedule's a little different now in what I define wins. So in episode 1, we definitely talked about systems and how work moves even when people are tired. So if you have systems in place, people know what they're supposed to do. So that's a system. That's something that needs to get done or executed. That's a system in place. And then we talked about identity of who you are. Who you are helps generate and pump those systems. And then today, vision. Vision is the next step because now we have to answer one question. Why does the system exist even in the first place? That's great because why do I have this system in place? Well, I have this system in place to help get to my win. I know if my printouts for us here in the military, and especially in the maintenance world, I know the 5988s need to get printed out, and I know the mechanics need to have a charged MSD for Monday morning to make sure when they're out there, they're able to troubleshoot. Well, my system in place is every Friday ensuring that everything's accounted for and that things are charged up, ready for go. I have that system in place. So Monday morning, part of my win is ensuring that everyone's out there accounted for, ready to go and to troubleshoot and verify faults. That's a system that I have in place, making sure everything's plugged up, ready to go to work towards my win for Monday, meaning I know my win Monday, if I have everyone out there accounted for and my MSDs are charged, that's a win. There's no excuse. Like that's a great part. I know if that's all done, tackled for, we're good to go. So that system drove to my win. What vision is not? Okay, let's clear something up. Vision is not motivation. Vision is not a 5 dream plan, and vision is not a slogan. If your vision can't help someone make a decision on a bad day, it's useless. If your vision can't help someone make a decision on a bad day, then it's useless. So I wrote that because, again, if your vision, I'm going to go back to the whole making sure my MSDs are charged, my maintenance support device for my mechanics, making sure those are charged for Monday morning. If my vision of having that complete doesn't help, then it's almost like useless. I'll let you ponder on that for a little bit. I did write a few examples. Improve readiness sounds good, means nothing. I've heard that a lot. Let's improve readiness. What does that even mean, improve readiness? I use this because you'll hear it all the time. We'll be in formation and they'll be released and they'll say, go do maintenance. Well, what does that even mean, go do maintenance? Check out one of our episodes in the videos that talks about what is actually maintenance. What does that even mean, go do maintenance? What are we talking about when we say go do maintenance? What's the vision of maintenance? Does that mean just go out there and kick the tires? Does that mean just verify I have my paperwork? Like, what does that mean? So you got to be able to express yourself, and you got to be able to communicate your vision of go do maintenance. What does that actually look like? What is the win for go do maintenance? The best way I could put it and say it. What else do we have here? Be the best. Be the best. Be the best at what? Be the best at what? If you could be the best, I need you to define what be the best is. Give me a little more substance so I can chew on that for a little bit of be the best. When vision is vague, leaders become the decision point for everything. And that's so true. When vision is vague, leaders become the decision point. Don't let someone else decide what your win is. Be specific in what you want. Be specific on figuring out what your win is for the day. When they go play a sport, they don't say, we're going to go try to score this basket and we'll see it happens, or we're going to try to put this pigskin across this line, and if it does, it does. No, they know that I have to get it across the line because that's the vision for everybody. The whole team knows getting this pigskin across this line is a win. So they're all going to work towards to that vision. It's not vague, like, oh, let's just go out there and, if we could possibly go play football. Like, no, we're going to go play football and we're going to score a touchdown. That is the win. We just got to score more than the other ones. Because you don't want that to become a bottleneck. Being vague is very, very bottleneck-ish of defining your win. If you're driving home and you're like, well, if I show up tomorrow, that's a win. That's not a win. That's just you showing up tomorrow. So you might want to dial that in to figure out what exactly your win is. What vision actually is. This is the core slowdown. Okay, so let's talk about this. And the reason why I'm reading off this, my thoughts right now work better when I type before I speak. Believe it or not, I'm better at typing and I'm better at thinking and writing. And it's not just me. Come to find out, it's actually a thing. Like, it's a whole communication study I'm going through right now, and I'm working through it. So I promise these will get better. But we're going to go back. Vision. Vision is agreed upon definition of winning inside the system. Well, we talked about earlier. Your win and your vision have to align in order for it to be successful. They have to mate. What does good actually look like? Not someday, not some year. This week, by Friday, give yourself a deadline as far as being very specific in your tasking. If this is a win, hey, my win is every Monday by 9 o'clock, all my soldiers or all my personnel are at their duty station or at their job, at their desk, ready to work. Once we get ready to work, by 10 o'clock, all the reports are done. Bam, that's a win. I'm already winning. I'm in a good mood. I started off my day, and people are going to feed off that. From what I've noticed, if we provide purpose, direction, and motivation, I'm telling you, it goes a lot smoother and a lot better. There's been too many times where out of those 5 people, like I mentioned earlier, who are sitting around, and they're the ones like, oh, I don't know. Those are the ones that could potentially later on not be as helpful as we want. That's the best way I could say it. So name your vision, name your win. Be very specific, be detailed, don't be vague, and figure out what matters. What matters right now? What matters to help your win? Because not everyone's priority can be a win. Trade-offs. I got told this analogy a long time ago and it stuck with me. There's glass balls and there's rubber balls. You got to figure out which ones. All right, so you got to be careful on that. Trade-offs. Hey, let me take away this to get to my end state of my win. So define your win there. Vision without trade-offs is just pretending. If you don't choose, the day will choose for you. And that's so true, because if you sit back and you never decide what your win is, and you're just, I'm going to go along for the ride, you're going to go along for the ride, all right, and you're going to have no decision, you're going to have no say, and you're just going to feel like you're stuck in that hamster wheel of wake up, work, repeat. I'll tell you that right now. And like I said earlier, I learned this. I definitely learned this. I would say, when I wrote, true story, when I was in my warrant officer school, we were told, this is my basic course, we were told it would be helpful after 100 days if you could write a letter to yourself and a letter back to us after your 100-day mark as being a warrant officer. And I thought it was not silly, because I've always kind of dabbled in writing anyway, like I mentioned earlier. So I did do it. And when I did write the after 100 days, that's when I started to realize a few things. That I was just trying to do everything, in a sense, myself. I was becoming a burnout. I didn't have systems in place. I didn't have battle rhythms. I had confidence in my team, but I didn't have confidence in my team. And that took almost slightly some credibility away from me, because my team knew I was there to work for them, but it got to a point where my team didn't feel like they could do anything because I was going to go do it anyway. So it's like, okay, what the heck? So it came off like I didn't have any trust in them. And I did trust my team. But back to my story. So I wrote after 100 days, and I started to realize that, hey, I can't feel burnt out anymore. Or why am I feeling burnt out? Why am I feeling like I'm not progressing? Or why do I just feel like every day it's the same Groundhog Day? Because I wasn't defining my wins. I was just going through the motions. And going through the motions gets old. So I encourage you, I applaud you, define your win. And don't wait to define your win. Don't start thinking about it. If you get very specific and very detailed on your defining your win, from what I've noticed, you start feeling better. You start looking at that piece of paper that you have right here, be like, man, let me write down my win, and you start checking that block. It's something mentally when you start checking that block and crossing that out of your own personal win and you start getting it out there, you start feeling better. Now imagine that same mindset for your whole team. You had a huge whiteboard just like this, and on the whiteboard you wrote for the days and the tasks that you want to fill out, and your team sees, all right, we executed this, we executed that, that's a win for the day. You don't know, you might actually change something. But it's going to come from you to do it. I'll tell you that right now, because not everyone's going to want to do it. And this goes back to what we were talking about with systems. The last thing we talked about is being consistent. And you can't just do it one day. If you just do it one day, it's almost, was it effective that one day? Yeah, it's like going to the gym. If I go to the gym that one day, did I burn extra calories? Absolutely. But that's part of the consistency. It's gonna get you more leaner, more stronger, more faster, more better. So you got to be consistent with it. And the same things with defining your wins. You got to define your wins today. What is your win for tomorrow? What is your win for the week? Some say it might sound like goals. It's not a goal. We just want to win. So what are you going to win by? So think about that today. Don't be like me, the guy in Korea who was trying to figure out about wins, or even when I came back from Korea, I was driving home by myself in silence with the windows rolled up. And when I park in the driveway, I'm like, oh man, I'm home already. Because I was just trying to reevaluate the whole day. Don't be like that. Every report, every update, every problem, be honest with you, they're going to be there. But it's how we navigate through it. It's how we tackle it. And here's the mistake. I wrote it in bold right here. Here's the mistake I see all the time. Leaders build a battle rhythm without defining the vision. So if you built this battle rhythm, tell me the end state of this battle rhythm. Why did you put this system in place? And how is this system going to help for the win? Why did you tell me I need to be here every day at 9 o'clock? What is the point? Well, because I need you here every day at 9 o'clock, because every day at 9 o'clock is when we start, is when we have to send up the reports, is when we have to go outside and start troubleshooting. That's why I need you here every day. Then vision tells where you're going. Battle rhythm tells you when to move. Love it. Vision tells you. And vision is so important when it comes to communication. And I got something lined up I want to share with you guys soon. It's a communication talk I did with some warrant officers. It was great. I was able to talk about a vision, how important it is to be able to articulate your words and change your words to imagery. And it's a whole series. Emotion. It was a great class. More to follow. But I leave with this. This week, I want you to do one thing. Define your win. Not for the year, not for the quarter. Just start off with just for the day. And then once you define your week for one day, do it for another. Then do it for a week. I had a win this past week, the other day. I was able to stick to my schedule, and on my lunchtime, some people take naps during lunch. This guy go gets pumps. That's just my thing. I like to, stay physically fit, mentally tough, train proficient, And my final thoughts, until next time, we'll talk about battle rhythms a little more defined, but I leave you with this. What's your win? Go get it.